Revenge. A dish best served cold. What a terrible open. Already fell off. What is up, everybody? Welcome into the pregame show.
Yeah, boy!
Make like a loud noise, dragon or something.
Loud noise.
Yeah, you could have done anything.
Dragon. What does a dragon sound like?
Well, nobody knows. That's a good question.
You were supposed to actually make the noise.
This is what a dragon sounds like. Very, very calm.
Wow.
Dragons also love basketball, so, you know.
What an annoying dragon we have in the house right here. Guys, tonight is a revenge game
Pull that
for
comment
the
up.
Denver Nuggets. What do you got one? Oh, yeah, Jason
Right off.
Tatum
Let's go
update.
around the association right now.
Should we just audible right here? Guys, we got a good show for you guys tonight. The Nuggets are playing host to the Los Angeles Clippers, who they blew famously. I don't know if you guys remember this game.
They did.
They blew a 25-point lead. Fresh on their minds. I think tonight that qualifies tonight as a revenge game.
I would hope so.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's also a bounce-back game as the Nuggets are coming off of a loss to the Utah Jazz. And to help celebrate, I've got from the Athletic NBA show a celebrity and arguably the greatest beard in all of the land.
All right. Now, that one, yes.
Second
I'll
one.
take that one. I'll take that one. I don't know about the celebrity thing. What is like the weatherman, right? I'm on that level.
Yeah.
The
where I'm at.
Weatherman fame?
Yeah, maybe.
We got some pretty big weathermen in
Okay,
Colorado.
yeah, we do have
like the
some,
weatherman in Des Moines. Okay, like, I'm
you're
about
right.
that.
I see
popular.
what you're
All right,
saying.
yeah.
All right.
That's so sad. Like Des Moines, the little league.
I actually love Des Moines.
Really?
I was there.
Of course, this is
Shout out Des Moines.
Shouts to Des Moines.
Buddy Adam Jacoby, had some dinner with him. Had a great time. Des Moines.
We should have a
underrated.
name drop counter for the show today.
Yeah.
Like
You
we're
want
at
me to-
one. We're at one. I've also got Superstar Dev in the house.
What's up, man? This is a time that we actually have to bounce back. It's time for the Nuggets to get back on the right track. They were just embarrassed by this team not too long ago, and that has to be on their mind. That has to be something that they're talking about, and I think we forget that they were blowing them the hell out. So they just have to continue to do that. It's simple.
I know.
Simple.
I'm rooting. We're going to talk about it, but I'm predicting a big Nuggets win here. I got Brennan Vogt in the house, though.
It feels a little bit different on running the Twitter. Everyone's waking up. Nuggets Twitter's waking up. I think
Really?
maybe the players are waking up a little
Percolating
bit.
a little.
Perhaps vibes are just around the corner, fellas.
So vibes aren't quite immaculate, but they're
You
bubbling.
can smell 'em.
You can smell the vibes.
Yeah, you
wow,
can
I didn't
smell 'em.
realize smell was one of those senses you
It's like,
could use on vibes.
What does a dragon sound like? What does
the
a
vibe
vibe smell like?
You're learning so much on
Yeah,
the show
it's
today.
amazing.
Well, first, we're going to get to some game notes here. I know the Clippers are a little shorthanded, remain a little bit shorthanded. They're down bad. What do you have for us, Vogt?
Yeah, just a touch. Let's just do the Clipper injury report here. Marcus Morris is unavailable for personal reasons tonight.
Kind of glad about that.
Nicholas Batum was placed back in the league's health and safety protocols. I believe it's his second time in this season. So he's out. Paul George, of course, is still out. Jason Preston out. And that Kawhi Leonard fella, he's out as well.
Poor Jason Preston, man. Remember, he was the guy I really loved. I didn't
You
know if he was.
loved him.
I didn't think he was going to be
What
great.
was
'cause
that about?
He just looked like he'd never been in a weight room. But you know what? He seemed like I love passers.
You do.
I love passers. He's
Yeah.
fun. He just looks like he needs about 5 years of weight training before he could actually play. And he got
And
hurt
5 years of
immediately.
burritos.
Yeah, he needs to eat
put
some
him on
sandwiches.
the minute bowl beer diet. you
Yeah,
know?
so he's still out. That's really shorthanded, man. Even more so than this last time. I mean, at least last time they had Batum and Marcus Morris.
Sure. Nuggets, you guys know the usual suspects by now. JaMychal Green is still out in health and safety protocols. Austin Rivers off the injury report. So I believe he is available tonight. And then the pregame lounge. Listen, Bryn Forbes is not going to be available tonight. But
Right.
Malone spent the pregame talking about him.
The trade is finalized now because they did the announcement and everything, so everybody can kind of exhale that this is not going to be a repeat.
Well, yeah, technically the Nuggets actually announced the first bowl trade as
They
well,
did.
but there's no reason to expect this
learned their
not
lesson.
to go through. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did the whole goodbye tweet. And
Oh, and they
everything.
did a formal press
Very
release.
official,
They
yeah.
announced it before. So announcement not the same as finalized, I think, in
Right.
this context. But Boston is expected, of course, to waive the test.
And I'm sure many of you guys watching this know we did an emergency podcast late last night at like 11:30 last night and shared our thoughts on that trade. We'll obviously talk about it some more, I'm sure, in the post game today. As we get some new information and just kind of some new perspective on it, especially tonight with Austin Rivers being back. I'm curious to see the rotation tonight. Is there
Sure.
anybody, Dev, that you have like sort of your eye on tonight? Like, hey, this is a game for this person.
I think Bones Highland. I think this is a big game for him just because I feel like the Nuggets starters should get off to like a big lead, and can the backup guards sustain that lead? We've seen that when Bones Highland has played well, the Nuggets have won games. They've played well. So if he's able to get himself going in that second unit, then no matter what zone the Clippers are going to throw at him or whatever like adjustments they make, he should be able to be ready for it, or it's just going to be very difficult if he has his shot going. So he's a guy that I'm keying in on.
And don't forget, very high profile, last time these teams played last week, Bones Highland was benched in the second half.
That's
so
right.
that collapse happened, in my opinion, in part because he was sort of being punished and that he is such an important piece, an important
offense
component.
fell apart.
Couldn't score. 27 points in the second half. And it was Bones Highland's defense that kind of got him on the bench, and then all of a sudden, you need his offense. So I think that I'm with you. He's a guy that I kind of have my eye on. What about you, Vogt?
I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go with Monte Morris, who I think has entered a bit of a mini slump of late.
A little mini one.
Mini one, not just to be clear, but in terms of guys who you hope and expect to knock down open threes when Jokic is on the floor, particularly in crunch time, Monte's going to be a guy who's open, a guy you can count on, and hopefully he starts knocking those back down again. And then also just getting Jokic the ball in the second half, whether that's Monte pick and rolls or he has to be better in just entry passes. Malone talked about that as well. That's another game note I have, but that's going to be a story tonight, Denver getting Jokic the ball against smaller lineups.
You have somebody you want to keep your eye on tonight?
A little under the radar. Okay.
Okay.
I think Nikola Jokic is a guy I'm paying attention to in this game
Sure,
tonight.
yeah.
I mean, you guys saw the shirt he walked in there with.
Did you guys see?
No.
That's a suit game on point
That's
again.
I was
right.
going to say, I just seen him walk across the screen.
And here's the thing, not just he's worn some suits today, or some suits. He's had the turtleneck, this or that. He's got like a little like silk undershirt going on here. I'm telling you, it's
Might have to look
disco
this up.
yoke is in the house.
But,
Disco.
they dominate these first quarters with him out there. I think they actually need to dominate even more in the first quarter of this game. You've got a team that's coming in down bad that just embarrassed you the week before.
Right.
You got to give them a little bit back. I think you got to get your pride back. This could be a team that you're in the play-in against, maybe. And when that happens, they could be bringing back Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
So I think that making a statement, especially after how embarrassing last week was, that should be the goal, and Nikola Jokic is the guy who can do it.
Also, tonight, I don't know if you guys saw, Joel Embiid, 50 points in 28 minutes, like a pretty historic 50-point
What
game.
kind of shirt did he show up in?
Yeah, he didn't have the silk shirt, though.
All right.
But look, Jokic is the guy that least cares about these types of things. But I do wonder if with him and Embiid, there's still a little bit. I wonder if he looks over and is like, all right, I can't have a bad night tonight. Like tonight, not saying he's going to try to go for 50.
Right.
But he might look at that one and be like, all right, got to bring it tonight.
And those guys have been tied together in debates for
Yeah.
the last few years. I mean, they are clearly head and shoulders as far as two-way centers.
Right.
They are the number one and number two guy in
No
some
question.
order, depending on how you feel about it.
Sure.
Now, I'm a Jokic guy over Embiid, and I think the
That's
numbers
right, I
back
love it.
that up. And then Gobert is kind of like third, right behind him on a sub-tier of his own. But it is funny to see them tied together, and I think it would be great just for the vibes, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Malone says, hey, you guys see what Embiid did? Let's give our MVP
How do you think
some
Jokic
run.
would respond if Malone came to him and was like, hey, man, do you see Embiid's 50?
He would say, no, I did not.
No. I just didn't see
I
it.
didn't see it.
He was no, I did not see, brother.
That's probably what
On
he
his
said.
little app.
One last little note here. So the Clippers, they beat the Nuggets. They had a little 2-game slide, lost at New Orleans, at San Antonio. They beat the Pacers most recently on Monday, and now they've got Denver. So not a real pattern there. Obviously, they've been pretty short-handed. I think they're probably starting to get a little bit of a rhythm, although losing Batum and Marcus Morris adds them, handicaps them even more. But here's the big thing. If we go over to the NBA standings, Nuggets currently have a 4-game lead in the loss column, which is the one you can't make up, the loss column. A 3-game lead on them. You win this one, it's a 4-game lead with 40 games left, or a little bit less than 40 games. To me, I don't know if I'm calling it. Nuggets get a win tonight. I think they finish ahead of the Clippers. Like, it's a 95% chance, but I would call it. I'd say this is a game that puts enough separation that the Clippers are not going to catch the Nuggets. If they lose this one, they're only 2 games up. I still think they're going to not worry about that, but at least then, like, the margin goes to like 70%.
Yeah, you could take away all momentum that they have whatsoever. I don't feel like the Clippers are playing like extremely well or anything, but with them missing their 2 main guys, this is like a point in their season that they're still hanging around. They're still around. So you got to try to, kick the rug from under them just to try to catapult yourself. So Nuggets push up to 6th seed right now. They would actually push up closer to the Mavericks, and now you could try to get some type of rhythm going. So I feel like this is like a big part of just trying to get the season back together, because that other loss was a pretty big loss. Like it like in the grand scheme of things, you don't think about it, but who knows if later down the road that's a game that they look back at like, hey, we had to have that one. So I think they just try to get themselves going in different ways.
Another funny little like Embiid connection here. Clippers' next opponent, Philadelphia. So there you go. Let it go figure. Let's move it on now real quick, guys. Yesterday when we did an emergency podcast, we talked about the incoming Bryn Forbes, and we briefly mentioned Bol and PJ Dozier, but I don't feel like we did justice to here's the thing that's fun about doing what we do, and the community, obviously, all the people that are following us here and kind of joining in. Everybody's a Jokic fan. Everybody's a Murray fan. Like, you like the big guys. When you really follow a team as closely as we do, the rhythms of it, this or that, like, you fall in love with the other guys, and PJ Dozier embodies that as much as any player. Like,
sure.
He was another undrafted guy, had to go through the G League, bounced around a lot. It's like he embodied the Denver Nuggets in a lot of different ways. He found a landing spot here. Michael Malone loved him. He was a huge part of some very key wins, including playoff wins for the Denver Nuggets. And it's, even though he was out for the year and the trade makes complete sense, I'm a little sad to see him go.
He was a utility guy.
Sure.
And there aren't a lot of them in the NBA. And he's not a good enough shooter, but he was
Right.
a pretty good defender.
Yeah.
And you could trust him to do stuff. And those guys are handy. Like, all right, I grew up a huge baseball fan. I loved utility players in baseball. Tony Graffinino is one of my favorite players of all time. So
Yeah.
goofy. It makes
We
no
all
sense.
loved Graffinino,
But
man.
PJ Dozier is kind of like a Tony Graffinino. And it's the same thing. It's like, this guy is not a
Clip that.
star, right? He's not going to give you 25 a night. But when he gives you a night where he scores 25, it's a huge deal, and you love
yeah.
it. So yeah, I mean, I'm a basketball coach, so I root for every guy,
Right.
But especially the guys like PJ Dozier. He had to fight to be there.
Vogt, does it feel like they traded Bol?
Yeah.
That was it. Clean. Then the trade got canceled. Then he had to do a trade, and like PJ Dozier, I feel like he almost caught a stray. And it feels a little weird, as much as it makes sense. Like, this is a business, this is a player that wasn't going to play for you, this or that. But it does feel a little like, hey, man, how's rehab? It's like Peter Corneli.
Sure.
Remember, you got COVID? Hey,
that's
news,
tough.
you're off the team now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Dozier, like, how's rehab going? You're gone.
Well, so that's interesting because this move is a little bit outside of Connolly's MO. And Connolly
Yeah.
was on our show where he admitted to us that he looks at these players as people and not assets, and these
right.
are relationships. I followed up right away. Doesn't that make your job harder? I think it does in this context. So
Yeah.
there's something to seeing Tim do that where A, it's PJ, who everyone loved, but B, it's representative of, okay, the Nuggets are outside of kind of where Memphis is now, right? That everything is golden phase. Now some really tough decisions and sacrifices have to be made.
The money is huge.
Money is huge. So that last phase of evolving into a contender, it's not quite as pure and sweet from a fan perspective. And I think saying goodbye to PJ is sort of representative of a lot of that.
You know what else he was? Part of the 7.
That's right.
Part of the 7. One of the
Do you know
best
what that
regular
means?
season
Do you know
games.
what that means
the
to
Nuggets,
us?
on the second night of a back-to-back, in like the fourth game in 5 nights, went into Utah after making the Beasley trade.
Yeah.
Only had 7 available players and won. And the players were Monte Morris, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Vlatko Cancar, PJ Dozier, and Torrey Craig, Gary Harris. So it was like it was Jokic, Murray, and a bunch of role players, including Dozier, and they all played awesome. Like, they all just played so great. And Dozier, to me, was like, that kind of embodies him. He was like that guy that I liked as like hey, I just need role players that are going to grind and do the stuff, and he was that guy.
Sure.
Exactly.
Super tough, man.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, like you said, super tough, and also just a guy that went through like the whole evolution of being a Nugget. Like, he's a guy that came in and no
Yeah.
one knew who he was.
Right.
Then it went to like, okay, this guy shows like a few things, to now being a guy that they really missed. Like, he
Right.
got injured, and now he's going to be truly missed. And now, everybody in Nuggets Nation or whatever, it's just like they missed him. He was the part of the trade that everyone wanted to come back. He's who they were sad about, as if Bobo wasn't there.
Right.
But like, that just goes to show the type of player he was. We guys talk about utility players. He's a guy that knew his role, and he was going to do whatever was asked of him every single night. He didn't want to be a starter. He came off the bench and gave effort. He's playing out of position most nights, but he didn't care. He just put his head down and came to work every single day. So that is someone that you like kind of just have to tip your hat to. And we're going to talk about him a lot because you're going to miss him, and you're going to just wish the best for him moving forward.
Last year in the playoffs, when everybody was hurt, I really said this about the Nuggets. If only they had PJ Dozier.
Sure.
True.
They could have won that series.
At least won a game.
At least won a game.
At
least won a game.
It was just a body,
They
a
had
defensive
nobody.
body you could throw at
Yeah,
anybody.
they had
we
nobody.
didn't
Yeah.
have anybody. He was a good Nugget. I'm going to miss PJ
was a
Dozier.
good-
He was a good Nugget.
Nugget.
You know
He was
what?
a
I'm
good
glad he
Nugget.
came through. I'm glad we got to root for him. Let's move on now to Honest Dave. This is where we get an outsider's perspective. You know, Dave's a liar, so we have a segment, Honest Dave, where he
Famously.
actually changes it up a little bit and is honest for a moment. No, but I want to ask you your honest opinion on some of these Nuggets as an outsider here.
Okay.
And first of all, the Nuggets right now are sitting in the 6th seed, I believe, out west. Do you feel the Nuggets have been disappointing, impressive, or completely neutral so far this season?
I think that they are exactly what everyone should have expected them to be, given the circumstances of their season.
So so not impressive, but also not disappointing.
Well,
Just kind of.
Jokic has been impressive, and
Okay.
lots of the other guys have not been impressive, right?
Okay.
And so Jokic has sort of, raised the boat quite a bit to average. They
Okay.
are exactly where you would expect them to be based on their statistics. They are winning the right number of games. They're just an average team without good players. I mean, this is like, it's not rocket science. You need more than one guy.
How many teams in the Western Conference do you think they have no chance of beating in a playoff series this year? And we know Murray's going to come back.
Yeah.
We know Michael Porter, but that there'll be complications,
Sure.
short order.
And assuming those guys are at least average starters or above level.
Just
when they
assume
come
whatever
back,
it is that you are assuming about
Well,
them
I'm
as
hoping
part
that
of
they're
it.
fine, right? Like,
Okay.
and I'm an optimist. If those guys come back and they are lighting the world on fire, I don't know who they can't beat.
Really?
Yeah.
You really believe this? This is honest,
look,
Dave.
I thought the Nuggets would have won the title last year.
I think Denver
They
believes
were
this too.
when the Aaron Gordon trade just changed everything, and that team was going to win the title. I'm going to say that right here. I'm a homer when I'm on a home team show,
Sure, yeah.
every single time. But I said it on my podcast too.
There we go.
That team after that trade, everything was working so perfectly. Everyone was playing their best basketball at the
Yeah.
same time, and that
Yeah.
just is so rare. And I thought that they were going to have so much time to build chemistry. And they were going to run away with it, I thought. So if those guys came back and it would all look like that, they're in that conversation with, Phoenix, and I think the Warriors dropped off a little bit because Draymond is so important to them, and right now he's iffy.
Right.
And then
Man, talk about his herniated disc too. So very iffy.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
sneaky
so
issue.
and they are not a great team without him. I mean, we've seen that. It doesn't exist. So I think if those guys are back and they're healthy and they're looking good, Phoenix is rough, obviously.
Who's the toughest matchup?
Phoenix.
I think so
as well.
too, man.
I
I
agree.
really do.
I agree.
They're a wins machine.
Yeah, they
and
are.
they've just got every piece that you want.
Yeah.
And
No
they've got
weaknesses.
multiple of
Yeah.
every piece. They've got Booker and Paul who can both do stuff
Yep.
off the
Right.
dribble. Mikal Bridges can do some stuff off the dribble, but you got Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson.
Right.
It's a matchup nightmare because they can throw whatever kind of lineup you want. Period. I mean, and I didn't even mention DeAndre Ayton. That's how unimportant one of their players that would
Yeah.
be a huge advantage against Denver is. Like, they are the team, I think, that right now in the West, that's the team to beat.
I don't know if they have a bad matchup just from a
Right.
roster construction.
the Warriors, if they're healthy,
Sure.
that's a bad matchup.
Who for Denver?
For
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing about the NBA right now, and I actually love it. I do feel like in both conferences, you've got a little bit of a like. This is the best team, but they have a kryptonite.
Styles
And this
make
team,
fights.
yeah,
Sure.
there's a lot of style fights out there, so I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Here's one that's interesting to me. So right now, the Memphis is number 3, Denver's is 6. How's that series go?
Well, I actually think Memphis is a better team than we're going to give them credit for. The numbers indicate that this defense is elite.
Yeah.
They are elite at making plays on defense. They're the best offensive rebounding in a team in the league on purpose. This is not an accident.
Right.
They lead the league in shots, and it's not even close. That seems pretty good if you're trying to score points and win basketball games. So I think Memphis, if they continue to build the way that they are, Jaren Jackson is really, this is a leap. Defensively, he is just on another level.
Yeah.
Then, depending on the health of Denver for a playoff series, obviously, I think it could be a toss-up because I do think Memphis is really, really good.
Last one here for Honest Dave. Rank them in order of fraudulence. The Nuggets, the Mavericks, the Jazz, the Lakers, and the Clippers.
Okay, so the Clippers I actually don't even want to throw in there because they're not even a real basketball team right now. And I could say the same thing about the Lakers, but the Lakers, they were not going to be good.
Even at fully healthy,
I
they
don't
weren't going
think
to be
so,
good.
man, because Anthony Davis isn't the same guy. He's not the guy that he was in the bubble. He's not the guy he was before the bubble.
It's crazy because Denver, like, I just look at the Lakers and I'm like, they suck. I really am so down on them. They're 22-22. Denver's 22-20.
But it's a difference. There's a difference.
There is.
There's a difference.
It's not built
The
the
Lakers
same.
do have a brutal schedule coming up. Like they have a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
They're kind of already started it.
We've
Yeah.
also seen them at full strength,
Yeah, that's
not
true.
sure what to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, there's not much hope there.
Okay.
So I'd say the Lakers probably.
They're
at
the
bottom.
number one most fraudulent team.
Oh
in that
no,
group.
no. I don't think that they're fraudulent. I think the Mavericks are the most fraudulent team.
Really?
Yeah,
Because I
because-
keep watching them win. See, this is
I
because
know.
I'm with you.
We all agree,
Like 3
though.
weeks ago, I'm
We
like,
all
the
agree.
Mavericks are a terrible team, and they keep winning.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
And some of it is
they're
I mean,
9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah. They catch teams at the right time.
They defend
Very
well.
often. They're defending so much better. The offense is still kind of like what it has. I mean, last year they were just insane, and this year it's looks a lot different. It's not very good. I just don't trust that team at all. I don't think they've got the guys, and
Are the
They got
Jazz
the guy.
fraudulent at all?
they are what they are. Which is what they've been, which is an elite regular season team that can just crank out wins because they have Rudy Gobert, who is so underrated that it's now like it's not even worth saying. And they have no one who can guard up front or on the perimeter, and it's just all of it falls on Rudy Gobert's shoulders. And by the time you get to the playoffs, when you run into a matchup nightmare like the Clippers were, I mean that was a unique matchup, perfectly suited to destroy what Utah does. I don't think they're frauds, man. I think they are what they are. If Donovan Mitchell played some defense up top, they wouldn't be, we wouldn't even be saying that.
are we coming around, by the way, on these sort of like? Are we finally holding guards responsible? Like
Yeah,
the
I've been on this
Dames and
corner
the
for forever.
Donovans.
Are you
and the,
kidding me? I'm so glad we're here.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. It's like,
Look, man, the cursory glance only sees the finish of the play.
Right.
You only see the ball go in or
Sure.
out.
So true.
but
Right.
not even just that though, Dave. I honestly think that there is a simple way to do basketball, and that is like rim protector, pick and roll guard, shoot like wing, like this type of thing. And like, so the rim protector, it's easy to analyze basketball. Like, they don't have a rim protector, but it's like, okay, you don't have that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work. You just have to think
Rim
differently
protection
about it.
starts 30 feet from the basket.
I remember Bob Valguera saying this a couple years ago that Clint Capella was like the third most valuable setter in the league. He's like, I would take him over everyone except I don't even remember who the two players were. And I was like, come on, man.
the Warriors.
Like, he's good.
The Warriors did that to us.
What's oh yeah, where it's
We
like,
got confused about what a center's supposed to be because
Yeah.
no one could stay on the floor with
well, I
one of
think
the
this was
best
during
teams
the
of all.
Houston era before they traded him away when all he did is roll to the rim and James Harden cooked.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's the formula. That's the only formula that works. And I was always like, ugh. I hate it because that's the most boring version
It's
of a big man.
monotonous.
It's the most boring version.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert
Monotonous
is
basketball. It's
the king of
spamming.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on now. Let's make some money, guys. Let's open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Guys, they have a bunch of deals today. So they have one, if you place a $50 bet, you get, I think you get a free dollar bet or free bet.
Details, so it's 50 cents per three-pointer.
50 cents per three-pointer made.
Made in the
$50 on the Nuggets game.
$50 on Nuggets game. It has. So I did that, by the way. I got the Nuggets tonight at -4.5. So I bought the line a little bit down. And now, so yeah, if the Nuggets make 23s or, there's 35 threes in this game, I'm going to make a little bit of money back on top of it.
But the money line doesn't count because that's to be odds or two.
But yeah, but that's why I bought it down because that's why I looked to see how I could get it as close to -250. Yeah, that was the fine
They
print.
can't
so I
hear
got
Edgar,
there.
by the way.
What's
It was
that?
a one-sided conversation.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll take a look at the line. Nuggets are 9.5-point favorites. Started
Wow.
the day at 8. I'm sure that Marcus Morris switched it up just because they had to adjust on the fly.
They beat the Nuggets last game with 87 points. Shameful. And now you lose your top scorer in Marcus Morris. They're going to even have a harder time scoring.
A harder time scoring. So you know what we're going to do on that?
Oh. Do we
It
have
is a
Munder?
wonderful day.
I can't believe we get +150 on this Munder. How?
We're going Munder.
Oh my God! So Munder
because-
is
because-
under 100.
Because it'd be a shame if they don't
If
munder this
if
squad.
they don't Munder the Clippers, how do they get +150 tonight? I feel like this is a
because they
sucker
also
bet.
saw the last Clippers
They
game.
won by 87 though. They only scored 87
I
points.
know, but then they just saw the second half and went,
Hey,
all right,
take
all
the
right,
Munder. We're taking the Munder tonight, guys. +150. You get plus money for a Munder with this squad. Reggie Jackson's gonna have to go for 50.
We're definitely taking the Munder. So then you just take a look at the lines. One line that I really like, I think that the Nuggets are going to get off to a hot start, like Dave said. So
Ooh,
I'm
I
going
like
to take
that.
Nuggets -5 in the first half.
Wow.
I think they're going to go
Okay.
up by 5 in the first half. I just
I
don't
like that
understand
bet. I
how
like that bet.
how Clippers are going to score. They also were blowing them out in a game that ended with 80 points. Like,
You're
let's
right.
just think about that.
Okay.
So I really think 5 is just like, that's a gimme. Like, I really love that.
Okay.
So I don't want to.
Man, we have an idea for how this game's going to go.
Yeah, I don't want to touch Jokic and the starters
I feel
lines.
way too confident.
I know, yeah.
I'm only questioning my own confidence. It's the only thing that scares me.
So I don't want to touch the starters lines just because I don't know how long they're going to play in this game.
Wow.
So I'm going to go with Bones Highland. That's going to
that's
be
your
my
guy?
lock. I think he's going to actually play this game.
Okay.
Also think that there's like an understanding you got benched last game for a reason. You need to get it together or you're going to actually be benched against this team again. But I know that the Clippers are going to go into a zone. They're going to have to at a lot of times. Bones can shoot them out of a zone. His points are only at 10.5. I'm going to lock that in. I really
Okay.
think he's going to get 10 points.
I love that.
10.5 points is not that much.
Yeah, that's, a couple threes for him, it already opens it all up, and we
Yeah.
already know how he attacks the basket. So I really like that one.
Hartenstein back could be a big Hartenstein game.
I don't think so. I actually
Man.
think
Should we bet that just for fun?
Well, I'm telling you, Hartenstein going up against the second. You're getting Zeke Naji
No, for
tonight?
sure.
and he has a
You're
lot
going
to
up against
prove.
Zeke Naji?
What about
He's got
his
a lot to
rebounds?
prove.
At
It's
least
a
hard rebound.
it's a revenge game for him.
Man, Hartenstein might make an actual impact in this
Oh
game.
my God, that'd be hilarious. Be a tough day on Nuggets Twitter if we
His
get Hartenstein.
rebounds is at 4.5.
Okay.
That's
Who?
on you guys.
Hartenstein? I'm
Hartenstein's
not taking.
rebounds
I
are 4.5.
never do this. I only bet for the show. I don't bet. I'm not going to bet on Hartenstein.
Yeah. Do you know who brought up Hartenstein?
I
You did.
brought him up, but I didn't
Just
say
now.
to bet on him. I
Let me
just
check.
brought him up.
It
I
was
just said
12 seconds.
we bet on
mentioned him.
Hartenstein?
No, you shouldn't.
Should we bet on Hartenstein? I'm not gonna
He's
bet on
playing.
him.
Bet on him. you idiots might.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're gonna, that's just what I'm gonna go with. I know that you like to build parlays.
You want to hear my
If
parlay?
I want to throw in just one piece for the parlay, Aaron Gordon 3-pointer. I just think it's a
Really?
juicer every single time. That's one I feel confident in. He makes at least one.
So you actually get a deal on parlays today, and it is they might have taken it off, but it was earlier. They had it there. It's a 4-leg parlay, and if exactly one misses, you get your bet back.
Yep.
So
I
you only
see
have to
that
go 3 out of 4. You get your bet back. If you go 4-4, of course you win. If you go 2 of 4, sorry, you're SOL. I took Nuggets money line. I took Will Barton 3, Monte Morris 3, Jokic 11 plus boards.
Hell yeah.
He's going to rebound tonight. He rebounds every single night. 1-3 for Monte, 1-3 for Barton, and a Nuggets win. I like that one. And the numbers were basically, even value. I put 2 units. I won 4 units on it. So, man, Hartenstein. The Hartenstein game throws a wrinkle into this that's kind of interesting.
By the way, for those wondering, Anthony Joseph Graffinino is a former American League Baseball second baseman, third baseman, and shortstop.
So it's a real
I'm from
person.
Richmond, Virginia, right? So we had the Richmond Braves, which was the AAA affiliate. So, like, I saw all these guys, man, when I was a kid. Like, Deion Sanders did his rehab there, and
Really?
Ryan Klesko,
Wow.
and Chip
Wow.
Graffinino,
That's
Javi
incredible,
Lopez,
man.
and
Yeah.
all
Keep
those
going.
dudes came through
Keep
Richmond.
going. Wow.
Minor league baseball is amazing, man.
Oh,
I mean, that's
wow.
one of the things I miss the most. Is
minor league baseball.
I love it, man.
You
I
wanna
used to
ki-
sit.
you
I
wanna
used to
catch your
sit
Newark
there with
Bears
the
game together?
scorecard, and yeah, it was great, man.
Kel, you go ahead and hit the outro graphic. That's fine. Keep going, Dave. Keep going. It's
I was
yeah.
sitting
What
there,
else? Yeah.
I would score
Yeah,
and
uh-huh.
I would
Yeah,
watch baseball.
watch
man. It's
baseball,
great.
keep the little scorecard.
Quiet. Yeah.